Hi children, let's continue with the next story. Two Leaves. Long ago, in a remote mountain village lived two brothers, Birju and Damru. They were cobblers and very poor. Their home was a mud hut with a roof of slate. When it rained, the roof dripped endlessly, messing up their few tattered clothes and their meager stock of corn. Behind the hut lay a small field of rocky soil. It was all the land that the brothers possessed. And there, with a lot of effort, they managed to grow some potatoes and some corn. Birju and Damru had grown up together and lived under the same roof of all their lives. Although they were brothers, by nature they were poles apart. Birju was loud and aggressive and given to fits of temper. He would pick a fight for no reason at all. Damru, on the other hand, was quiet and patient. It took a lot to anger him. Birju often complained that they never had enough money. Their clothes were torn and the roof leaked, but Damru always tried to pacify him by saying, "Why do you fret all the time? We have so much to be grateful for. We nearly always have enough to eat, and the people of our village bring us their old shoes to repair, so we manage to earn some money for our other needs too. Why can't we be content with what we have?" Birju heard his brother all right, but it did not have the slightest effect on him. One bitter cold winter's day, Damru went out looking for some firewood. He found a log under a tree and was delighted. "That is enough firewood to last us many days," he cried. "It is completely dry, so it will burn very well." He lifted the log on his back and carried it home. The sun had set and a chilly wind was blowing. Birju saw the log and said, "Let's light a fire to warm ourselves." The log was thin at one end. Birju set fire to it and the wood began to burn with a clear flame without so much as a wisp of smoke. The two brothers found the warmth very comforting and had just begun to doze off when they heard a very strange sound. "Cuckoo, cuckoo." A little later it came again. "Cuckoo, cuckoo." It sounded drowsy, like someone talking in his sleep. "That's a bird for sure," cried Damru, his eyes shining, for he loved birds. "Nonsense," Birju snubbed him. "You are always imagining things. It's much too cold for birds to be around. Besides, have you ever heard a bird call like that? Believe me, it sounds like an evil spirit." "Cuckoo, cuckoo," came the sound again, louder than before. "Cuckoo, cuckoo," and out of the log there fluttered a beautiful bird. Her feathers were green and shone like jewels, and her beak was the color of gold. She looked about her like one startled and flew to the little niche in the wall. "Cuckoo, cuckoo," she cried. "I was sleeping in the log when I felt something warm. Why has summer come?" Birju burst out laughing. "Have you ever heard anything more stupid? We are going to have snow and there's that bird talking of summer." "Who told you to sleep inside that log, silly bird?" The bird replied, "I found a little hole in that log of wood. It was so cozy that I went to sleep in it. Tell me, how far is summer?" Damru spoke gently. "Little bird, summer is still a long way off. I'm sorry we set fire to that log and woke you up, but we had no idea you were sleeping inside." "What shall I do now?" cried the bird. "My home is gone. Where shall I go?" "Why don't you stay with us?" cried Damru. "We would be delighted to have you. Winter is so lonely in the hills." "I don't want her here," muttered Birju under his breath. "We'll have to share our food with her." But Damru tapped Birju on the shoulder to quieten him. "Oh, come, beautiful bird," said he. "You must stay with us." And much to Damru's joy and Birju's annoyance, the bird agreed to stay. The bird built herself a little nest in the niche, and for food Damru gave her grains of wheat crushed between two stones. The bird brought great joy to the humble hut. All day long she kept chirping and chatting. She related stories of the places that she had seen, and Damru listened wide-eyed. Birju still resented the presence of the bird, but Damru was simply delighted. He no longer felt the cold or hunger. Even when the roof leaked and the wind blew chill through chinks in the door, he only smiled. But one day the long winter was finally over and spring came again. The bird hopped to the door of the hut and looked at the buds on the trees and became restless. She told Birju and Damru, "The time has come for me to leave. Look, the sun is out and the trees will soon be laden with blossoms. Let me go. I shall fly over these beautiful hills all summer. In winter, I shall find a warm place to sleep. But I shall be back when another year is done. Tell me, what shall I bring you?" "There's nothing that I need," said Damru. But Birju was different. "What can you bring, Puni, that you are?" he asked. The bird thought for a moment. Then she said, "Among these mountains lies a river of snow. I know because I often fly over it. Across the river there's a lake brimming with clear, sparkling water. On the shores of this lake grow two trees. One has gold leaves, the other has green. The man who has a gold leaf will always be rich, and the man who has a green leaf will always be happy. I can get a leaf for each of you. Tell me, which leaf do you want?" "A gold leaf, of course," cried Birju without hesitation, "and make sure you get me the largest." "A green one for me," said Damru quietly and added, "Little bird, please do come again, for we are going to miss you." The bird flew away. That year things went very hard with the brothers. Their potatoes rotted in the ground because the spring was too wet, and even in summer very few people brought their shoes to them for mending. To top it all, let's continue in the next chapter. Thank you. Bye bye.